Hello everyone, welcome back to the studio for this week's episode of Tutorial Tuesday. Today we're here for Tutorial Tuesdays number 28. I thought we would do a really beautiful winter scene, but warm it up a little bit with some pastel colors. Today for the palette we have a pretty small amount of paints. Be sure to check in the description below so you don't miss out on that. And let's jump right up into the canvas. I have a pre-stretched canvas 18 by 24 inch and I've just covered it with a thin even coat of liquid white, so it's ready to go. And we'll get my palette up here for you this time so we can start with that in the beginning, which is helpful. I forgot that last time. Oops. I'm going to go right into the Alizarin Crimson to start today, and I'm using my 1-inch brush. I just want to get a good bit of this on the brush, and I'm going to work this into the top area first, just kind of long horizontal strokes, be some long pastel sky and clouds up here. And before we forget, we want to incorporate this down below into what's going to be our water. And we'll just get some of that down there, it doesn't matter. A little bit more crimson, just dip right into that on the brush. And I'm going to move this up a little bit more. And we'll just kind of even some of that up. All right, next we're going to mix up a little bit of a lavender color. So we're going to use Alizarin Crimson and get just a touch of Phthalo Blue. Just a little bit. Start really small at first with the amount, and then kind of work into it. Let's start with this. We'll put some of this lavender right in between here, and we want a little bit of this below as well, more closer to the horizon line, and that kind of gives us a little bit of a look of kind of that misty horizon that we get just kind of in the winter time. And we'll do a little bit of the same thing down below. Just mix up some more paint if you have to. And we'll just incorporate this all down here. Get a lot of this lavender color. Kind of helps to get some of the paint off the brush as well. That way you can get it nice and soft at the top up here. I'll just lightly bring these two together there. Clean out the brush just a little bit. And we're going to try and pick up some Indian yellow and see how clean we really did get this brush. Looks good. That's good news. A little bit of titanium white into that. I just want there to be a little hint of some kind of peachy sky. Just some colors kind of moving in. And we're putting this Indian yellow right over the Alizarin Crimson. We did that on purpose, and it just helps to build this color and kind of give it a nice rich gold feeling. But also we won't have as much issue when it comes to blending and making green in the sky. Since we do have lavender, sometimes I can get a little bit of a grayish color when you get blended in with some blues, so we don't want to really pollute that color. So we start small and kind of work up. I'm just going to turn this into a little bit more of a peach with just a touch of bright red. There's something really special about the winter time, and it's really hard to explain if you've never been able to experience it. And when I grew up, I didn't really experience it quite the same as I do here in Salt Lake City, because it didn't really snow where I grew up. But it snows a lot here, and some of the colors that you get are just really magical and pretty out of this world. So I wanted to pick up on that. One of my favorites is right after a fresh snow, going out, and then really, really early you get this purple and pink color that is just magical, and it reflects off of all of the snow, and it's just so really, really, really cool. I thought we'd kind of use some of that today and, paint that. Use some of those ideas and get it on the canvas. And the really cool thing about water and reflectivity with regards to colors, there's very little rules. The way that the water is going to reflect these colors isn't going to be the same order. So we're just kind of putting in some color almost in the opposite. So these colors being really close to the horizon, and that gold is really going to reflect further away and closer to us. So we're going to see this gold in the colors really close, and then we'll see this peach kind of in the colors further away. So we just kind of play with that and get the two to, just harmonize together. And we're just using the same colors on the top and the bottom just to give us some fun ideas. And this is going to be like frozen icy water, so it's going to look really pretty. We want to get a lot of paint down here and make sure that it's very similar and matching and harmonizing with the top. Just kind of work this together. Leave that. I want to pick up a clean blending brush. Some of mine are a little bit dirty. Starting in the lighter areas, we're just going to really soften this. Bring it all together. I just flipped the brush over, keeping my dark area in the dark and bringing the gold up into the gold. Just didn't want to have too much mix up there. Let's just soften the bottom a little bit, and then we'll come right up into our horizon line. If you're new to my channel and this is your first time here to Tutorial Tuesday, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I would really love it if you could subscribe to my channel and let me know that you're watching and liking what we're doing. We have new tutorials every Tuesday for Tutorial Tuesday. And I'm working on getting some more content up into my members only channel, which is really exciting. I'm going to be posting a lot of my commission pieces in there with a little bit of music, kind of like some of my older stuff. So I'm excited to be able to get that to y'all, and no commercials in that channel. You just pay like the monthly amount. And yep, I've got quite a few videos that I'm ready to start dumping in there. So I'm just really excited to get going and get some of that happening, and we'll see where it goes. I just mixed up a really nice dark lavender I want this a little bit more to the blue side actually. And we'll grab some titanium white, just so we can make sure that we're mixing up the color that we want. I just wanted a little hint of blue up here, so we'll leave that. I'm going to pick up a fan brush and just dip right into the titanium white and put in some fun, just kind of movement. No real specific sense of rhyme or reason, just some long, kind of wispy things that are working their way across the sky. We'll go right into this blue, and we'll blend this out a little bit more later. Just keep adding a few or many, however many you want. We're making kind of a pastel scene, so this titanium white over the top, as we work the colors and start to blend it, will just really make the sky nice and soft and just help to give us a little bit of feeling of depth here. So we'll take our blending brush, and I just want to give these a little shake out, keeping them nice and flat. I'm just kind of pulling them out of the bottom and giving them a little bit of a wiggle. I'm going to wipe off the brush really quick, make sure to get off any of that excess paint, and then we'll give this layer a little lift up, go all the way across just a couple times. Nice. Just what I was hoping for. Isn't that fun when it actually works out and the thought in your mind comes out onto the canvas? It gets a lot easier the more that you practice, the more that you paint, the more that you look at things and try and get that image out onto the canvas. The more you practice, the easier it's going to get. So I'm just going to show you a bunch of different ways to do that, and hopefully the more you practice, the more you'll be able to get that, achieve the look that you're hoping for, just by knowing how to get the colors to blend and all of that good stuff. Compositions. There's a lot of elements that come into play. I wanted to blend these other ones before I got into this blue, just so that we didn't get mixing some of this darker color around where we didn't want it. I'm just giving it a little bit of a mix. Maybe we'll tap it a little bit. Let's bring some of this kind of blue lavender, just a touch, just a hint of it down here. Almost can't even tell. Lift the whole canvas. I do it in a semicircle, usually, depending on the scene, but for this one for sure. Just a nice simple little scene. We want to have some simple composition. It just helps to bring the eyes around the canvas nice and flat at the horizon. I am going to use this, a little bit of this dark color, this kind of like bluish. I just want to add a little hint right here. And we'll just kind of finish off this bottom by really softening the whole thing. Bring that all together. Then we'll finish this part off later. I think the most important thing that I've realized when it comes to painting with this wet on wet process is really paying attention to this step, this harmonizing step, because it really sets you up for the rest of the painting. So if you can take care and get some of these colors to reflect the way you want when you're doing a water scene, or you know, line up your mountain the right way before you do everything else, like those things are all really important. But if you have the colors set up in a way that has gradients and can give you that visual effect before you start putting the rest of it on, I think that's really important. And I like to try and get a nice amount of paint, like it's still really thin, but it has paint on the canvas, and so I'm not mixing with pure liquid white anymore. I'm mixing with these colors, and these colors are going to help keep the painting all on that same feeling that we were going for. So the feeling is a sunset. I don't know if I really mentioned that, but yeah, a warm winter scene. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I think we're off to a good start with these warm colors. I want to keep this kind of simple today. I thought it would be fun, so we'll see how that goes. I'm just using this lavender color that we were using earlier, Alizarin Crimson, Phthalo Blue, definitely more of the Alizarin Crimson than the blue, but I did want this to be a little touch towards the blue side, so we'll do that. And I'm going to add just a touch of Midnight Black. It's a very nice purple color once we get the midnight, or the titanium white with the midnight black. So we're just kind of getting this color going. And we're going to put in some cool little foothills out here, just something distant. Nothing seriously crazy, just a little bit. Maybe we'll have a little kind of mound right there, and a little bit more blue, a little bit more black. A little bit more black, and go right back into that lavender mixture, and we'll just bring this back in. Just something like this. And I want to blend this out a little, so we're going to use the big brush and tap right at the base, straight down. You don't really have to pull, but you do want to be tapping pretty straight. It just helps with the overall effect here. I'm going to get rid of any paint that I picked up on the corner here. And we'll just give this a nice little lift. Kind of like some distant pine trees out there. And before we finish off that layer, I want to pick up a little bit of titanium white on the fan brush. It can be nice and dirty. We'll just go get a little bit of our gray mixture. Lavender gray over here, and just dull it out just a touch. We might need to pick up a little bit of liquid white just to get this to stick. We'll get just a touch, medium thickness here. And we can just go back out here and kind of give these a little bit of a pull, and you just lift up with that bright color. And we're just kind of giving you some ideas of some tree branches or some stems, and I don't know why this is always so hard, but stumps. Anyway, we're putting those in, and this also helps to give kind of that snowy effect. So we'll take our blending brush that we were using and just really lightly, very lightly, give them a little bit of a lift. And then we'll take our titanium white into some gray mixture. And we'll just come up here and give a little bit of a pull, just in a few, kind of some ideas of the way this hillside is like flowing down here. Nothing too crazy, because then we're going to come back and we're going to put in just a couple more little features of this hillside. Then we will pull some of this down for a reflection. Just mixing up a few varieties of our color. Now, we will, excuse me. Now, let's just get a few more bits here. Just pull down a few ideas of a reflection. This is really going to be hidden behind kind of our next layer, but we still want to get it right. And the color in the reflection is important. Although some of it might not show, we still want to make sure that we are hitting on some of those key aspects, because our water and ice is going to be reflecting right around this area. So we just want to get some of these hills, some of the ideas of these hills also reflecting into the water. So we'll just get this going like that. And make sure we have this matching over here. And if we cover any of that up, it's okay. Blending brush. Straight across. Nothing too crazy. We're going to, it's just a little bit stronger than I wanted it to be, so we're gonna kind of fix it up here. Just with the brush, 1-inch brush, I'm just gonna bring up this next layer, just a tiny bit. And you just have to make sure that you have a darker color so that it stands out against it. I want to make sure that we get a good bit of dark over here in our possible reflection as well. So I'm just going to distribute some of that dark. Now, blending brush, tap out the base. Give it a lift. Maybe pull out a few. Branches, tree stumps, whatever, no big deal. Pull this down and then we'll go straight across just to make sure we have that all set up. Now, we're going to move on to this next layer, which I think is going to be really pretty. We'll pick up some Alizarin Crimson, some bright red, some titanium white, some midnight black. I really wanted it to be kind of like a reddish brown. It's a very typical color for the trees when the sun is going to be all pretty like this. We'll get some different colors on the trees. So we're just going to get that loaded onto the brush. And we're going to start over in this corner, just tapping up and letting the bristles do all of the work. We can flip the brush over before we reload it, and you'll still have some paint. Not much though. Now we'll just work across here. Pushing up. Kind of on the side of the brush though. And if you want to make them nice and pointy, you can even get to both sides like this, and you'll get a nice kind of pine tree there. I'm just wanting to make a nice little kind of a wall over here. A little bit more titanium white in this. Over here, they're getting taller. And we'll just be sure to drop a couple of these down below. And we're going to put in one more layer just in front on a couple of these. Get a little bit more midnight black, really rich. We'll just allow a couple of these to kind of pop out in front. Just like that. Nice and soft. Very soft today. I'm going to start over here and pull down. Pull that across. We're going to use our fan brush with a little bit of titanium white on it. And we're just going to pull out a couple areas of snow again. Now I want to just soften this out a little bit. We just have to be really careful. You can just kind of touch on a couple of them or pull them back. All right. We're going to put in a little bit of a shoreline on this back area, just all of our dark colors, kind of this nice dark purple here. And we're going to put in a little bit of a shoreline. Right there, we can just barely see it. And it's going to come around here. And you just kind of pull some of that back into this snow that we've created. Pick up your blending brush, pull down just the smallest little bit of reflection on that. Straight down, just give it a tiny little pull, clean out the brush, and then go straight across. And now back here we want to put in just a touch of snow. Actually, let's use the knife. That's going to be easier. If you want to use your brush, you can use your brush, but I'm going to use the knife, and we'll just pull out some snow. It's dirty titanium white. It's like a little bit of a gray. And we'll just pull out some snow. And just kind of load it up here. Like it's just nice and thick on the edge. Just pull some back. Okay, now we're just going to finish off this other edge here, kind of just pulling out a nice bit of snow over here. And we'll just use this fan brush, dirty as it is, it doesn't really matter. Just use what you have. We're just going to create a nice area, pick up a nice bit of fresh titanium white. There we go. And we'll just bring that down here. And then we're gonna have kind of a little bit of a kind of like a rocky area here. So we'll just put this dark in. We're just going to pull that just slightly out. Then we'll pick up some snow with the titanium white and just kind of dance it on the top. Maybe it'll kind of fall over in a few areas. Then we're going to have a good bit of snow and ice, kind of just covering a little bit of an area here. So we're just going to pull in this color, kind of a lavender, midnight black, phthalo blue, and Alizarin Crimson. There's still a little bit of our bright red in there. That's okay. And we're just going to just shape this out. Stop there for now. Let's go ahead and pick up some liquid white and go into our bright color over here, kind of making a medium texture with the liquid white and titanium white. I don't want it super, super thin, just medium texture. And we'll just cut in a little bit of the water's edge over here. It's frozen, but you're still going to see this nice and reflective kind of edge here. And then we'll just pull out a couple bits of ice over here, just really make it look like this water is very, very cold. It just reflects and is shiny because it's icy. All right. Let's do a little bit more of this shoreline over here. I think we need to do just a touch. I'm gonna pull this down over here. Just kind of bring this guy out. And I'm just going to drag out a little bit of snow. Kind of using some lavender and some of our pink and peach colors and getting a good mix of those all on the palette knife, and you can just pull right out a bunch of snow and come back with your brush later and soften it out. So we'll just do this. Put in another shoreline at the edge here. We'll just do something like this and kind of pull these back. Pick up your fan brush and we'll just soften these edges together a little bit and just kind of Okay, now for the fun stuff. Pick up your script liner, and I'm getting my brush wash ready. Just taking the lid off. And we're gonna dip right into our dark mixture here. And we're gonna put in some trees. I like to give these a good bit of a wiggle. Just makes them seem more realistic to me. Because there's not a lot of straight trees. I mean, they exist, but don't get me wrong. I just don't see them very often. And let's bring these guys. One in the middle, squiggling, and one just off to the side. Now you can see why we set up all these colors. We're putting all these trees on top, and if we didn't have these colors here, well, we'd have to put them in. So now we don't. I'm going to just pull out some reflections over here. All right, now we have all of our trees. Let's add in a few details. We're going to do the majority of them with a brush, but it's good to get an idea. It's cold out here and these trees are trying really hard, but you know, it's just tough right by the water. So they've got some foliage, but not a lot. So we're gonna just give them a few branches for those leaves to sit on. And then we'll pick out a few more after we really establish the tree itself. Just kind of clean these up. Make the base of them a little bit thicker if you need to, just so that it all works better. You have the look that you're going for. A little bigger here. Just push that brush down in and they'll come right out. All right, let's put in a little water line, just kind of working in layers. Bring this around here and around there. And then we'll bring this up even closer, right up in there. Real cold like. I want to add some little shrubs and things. Just pick up a little crimson and red. Maybe a little Indian yellow. Just a few things. There'll be some stuff out there. Not a lot though. I'll put a few sticks and twigs. Just kind of clean up the base just a little there. I like to take a little bit of titanium white on the brush and you just kind of pull some paint up onto the stumps. So we're going to do that on all of these. We can go ahead and give the front of them a little bit of color as well by just touching on the outside. And then now we'll clean up the bottom of them. Pick up your fan brush and a little bit of liquid white and we'll go right into our crimson and bright red and make a nice bright pop of a color there. And you'll just kind of pop on some bright snow in a couple areas here. All right, now let's pick up the fan brush again, clean it out. We're going to load it up with a bit of a dark color here, dark lavender. Alizarin Crimson, Phthalo Blue, and Midnight Black. Just those colors. Alizarin Crimson, Phthalo Blue, Midnight Black. Just allow those to blend up on the brush. And then we're going to pick out our trees. Give them a little tap. And we'll leave them just like that. Maybe this one is a little barren in the middle, and it's got a little bit more to give down here. We'll just match these a little bit here. Before I get these trees all in the back covered up, I'm going to put in a few stumps. Just get some dark paint on the knife, kind of the same color that we're using actually right now, and just kind of scrape in a few ideas of some stumps over here. We just want to give just, you know, like a little details, and it's these little ones that end up looking like the big ones in the end, but they're not. Sneaky. It's fun. You can really, you don't have to try as hard as you think you do to get the effect that you want. So that's what we're going to try and do, hopefully, with these reflections too. So we're going to put them all in together, and then we'll go across and soften them. But you might be wanting to go in and like mess with them right now, but give them some time. If you let it just sit there for a little while, it will get easier to work with, and I promise you'll be happy about it. So just let them sit for just a minute. We'll go in and work on these and just finish up some ideas of these trees happening out here. And it's just tough out here. So these trees are just going to be nice, and the branches don't come all the way down. Well, the foliage doesn't, but we'll put in some branches here towards the end. Isn't that fun? Just kind of bring this one all the way. Match these ones up a little. Something like that. Just have fun with it. And I'm going to make these ones just super big. Big, big, big. Can jump right off the canvas. Bring this one up too. I hope y'all are having fun watching me paint. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Please subscribe to my channel, like the video, comment. All of that stuff helps me to just to know, how y'all are doing and if you are enjoying the painting. And yeah, I really enjoy all of that, knowing where you are, that kind of thing is just, it's fun to know who's watching and what you like about it. So let me know in the comments what you think, how you're doing today, maybe where you are, and if you're feeling really excited to share, you can always email me, Kaylee at KayleeRakowski.com. You can just email me and, let me know, wow, I watched one of your videos and then I was inspired to paint this. And I would just love to see what that is to you. I have a couple people who, Ed, thank you for your photos. It's so fun to see what you're working on and see where your brain's at and how my paintings might inspire you. So thank you so much. Let's keep it up. We're almost through to the finish. I think we're just going to keep this one kind of short. Well, I don't really know how long I've been recording for. Let's see. 52 minutes so far. So we'll see if we can try and keep this one close to an hour, maybe. Just give that a little tap on the top and a few branches. Just throw them in. Have some fun. We've got a couple more branches here to do. Maybe this one's just empty and it makes up a little more color. Ooh-wee, I need to get a new fan brush, I think. It's almost time. They just make such fun trees when they're really old brushes. Let me know if you have some old brushes that you just are like, I want to get rid of it, but I don't want to get rid of it. Because I feel you there. Feel you there. So many good parts about having old brushes. Grasses. Oh, you can make some fun grass with old brushes. Like these fan brushes work really, really well for that. They do make some pretty good pine trees, but you gotta try. You gotta work hard for it. Ah, there it is. There it is. Just throw them out. Throw them out there. Get them on the canvas. We'll just. Who cares? Something like that. Something like that. Okay. Now, I want to pull out a few little sticks and branches on these trees. And, well, I don't want to forget this one. Scrape out a few like that. And then you can come back with some of your mixture that's nice and thin. And you can add in some more branches that kind of just, they kind of just shoot out. I want to make them all look the same. Goodness me. Sometimes you can get a little bit repetitive. Try not to do that, but we'll add in a few more just some sticks and twigs. All right, we're gonna pick up a fan brush, a clean one this time. We're gonna go right into our lavender mixture, get a good bit of that into the brush. And we're just going to finish off with a few little bits of some little brush, just like that, we'll leave it. And we're going to pull from the bottom, straight up. Wipe it off. From the bottom, straight up. Wipe it off. Bottom, straight up. Keep going. Wipe it off every single time. You'll just be so much happier if you do that. Promise. Okay, now, straight across. Really grab that paint. Push it back in. Now right here, pull this down. Okay. Pick up our highlighter brush, fan brush. We'll dip into some liquid white and we're gonna go right into the titanium white and bright red. Liquid white to thin it down. And to this, we're going to add just a touch of that bright yellow. And we're going to pop on some snow onto the highlight side of these trees, which is going to be kind of on the right-hand side. So on this back side, we'll just plop on some snow onto these branches. Just push up. Maybe not all of them. We definitely want this color to pop, so work with that and, you know, kind of build your own color. If you want it more to the red side, more to the yellow side, it's really yours. Up to you to decide. Either is going to look really pretty. If you have these more to the blue side and you go with a lot more of the yellow, you could risk turning it green, but it also might look really cool. So just do what you think is best and give it a try. We're just plopping on some snow on the way down. And then what we're going to do is clean off this brush again. And we're going to get some liquid or some titanium white. Bring it right over here. We want some phthalo blue in here. Nice, pretty blue. And we'll thin that down with some liquid white. Touch of midnight black, just a touch. That's better. A little more. There we go. Get that up on the brush. And some more snow on the back side. Just a few. You don't have to put it everywhere. This isn't quite, you know, it just doesn't have to be perfect. There could be no snow on these and you might make them green. But I really want this to feel like a winter scene. Oop, I went and got some yellow and that was not what we wanted to do. I just wanted some white. Now we have a nice gray. We'll make this blue again. There we go. If you've ever been in one of my other videos and I've talked about this phthalo blue being really strong, you could see I was turning the color into like a gray green color, and it doesn't take a lot of blue, of this phthalo blue, to bring it back. That's kind of what I mean by saying it's a very strong blue, is it's just going to overpower everything that you have very quickly. So you just have to be really careful when you use it. And make sure that you don't have too much when you don't want it. We're just plopping on some snow onto these branches. It doesn't look like much now, but when this dries, it'll just pop all of these little blue bits here. And now, clean that off a little bit. We are still probably in the shadows over here, so we're just going to work with this blue, and we're going to pop on some snow right out onto these little bits here. A little bit onto this guy in the middle, maybe in the beginning here. Just a little bit there, here and there, and there and here. And now we're going to pull out another bit of snow here, right out here in the front. Just titanium white. Go with all of your good colors. You can kind of give it a little bit of a scrape and it'll just blend right with all of that. And just plopping on some snow way out here. Just allow it to blend and mix. We put a little bit of dark kind of underneath here. And we'll do that just one more time. Maybe just kind of bring it out like this. Just like we're like on this little bench. And this is coming around, and maybe we're sitting right here looking out across. And this is straight titanium white. We're just letting it blend with the colors on the canvas already. It is a little bit messy where I'm picking up the titanium white, so it is kind of blending with some of these colors, so that's okay. Just let that all happen. Get some snow out here. I really want this to feel like thick snow, but anything that's just straight titanium white just won't work, so it's got to be a little bit muddy. And we'll just pull that snow right up there. Pull out some of our reflections here, straight down, and go across. Something like that. Scrape in some stuff, pull out a few branches, and maybe just clean up the base of this a little here. Just by kind of flattening it out, you just kind of clean up the edges. That way when you get real close in and look at it, it looks normal. Plop down some snow, just right across. It kind of just comes down this hill here and connects in. All right, now we're going to take up some of this medium textured white over here. Just grab off a little roll of that, and we're going to add in and kind of fix off some of our water lines here. I want this area to be nice and icy looking. We'll pull off some thick titanium white. Maybe get a little bit of this in here. All the way, and we'll work this up just up to here. Now it's really thick paint that I was putting on there, so we need to come back and just level it out. And you can pull out the ends very flat, and it just gives it this kind of bright sheen, and it looks like sparkles on top. And bonus, it blends with the background color that we already put on and creates harmony, which is what we want. Straight out. Just allow this paint to blend with the canvas. Maybe you pick up another color and you just work with it. Just work with it. Straight. We're moving down and at an angle, but straight. All of these need to be straight. Just rock side to side. And we'll just finish a little bit over here, flat. Maybe it's like slushy and it's some of it's really frozen out here, and in the middle it's just kind of starting to be, and working on it. And over here we just nice and cold feeling over there. Right, I think I'm gonna add just a few more highlights onto these trees. There's just a couple that I think deserve to stand out a little bit more, so we're gonna pick out a little bit of our bright mixture, go right into that bright red. Bright, nice and bright, a little bit of Indian yellow, very golden, very thin, and we'll pop on a few of these, this kind of peach, sunshine color, and just work some of this in where the light just might really be popping. Maybe on this one over here, we needed a little more. And I'm seeing maybe right in here just a touch. I like that a lot. All right. Yeah, I think this is a cool snowy scene. Very simple, very loose, and yeah, shouldn't be too challenging. It definitely can be. You can add more in and, you know, get a little bit more crazy. But I think just simple is working for me today. So I'm just gonna do that. Maybe a little bit of this pop. And I'm gonna sign it and we're gonna be done. Yeah, that seems good. Simple. I would love to see how you change this or do something different or add to it, embellish it. But I do really enjoy these simple scenes. I do them quite often, especially if I'm trying to paint out or paint a scene outside. You can get a quick idea of something and just do a quick version. They don't all have to be like that perfect painting. Just have fun, get the colors out and see what it turns into. And then if it doesn't turn out to be the exact way that you wanted it, at least you learned something and you'll be prepared for the next time. But sometimes they just turn out and you'll never know unless you actually get to the finish. So today we have reached the finish, and I'm going to sign it right over here, right in the snow, so you should be able to see it nice and pretty. little tougher because it's really thick. Maybe don't sign it in the snow unless the brush wash does have its limits. If you're using paint thinner to thin this out to sign it, you'll be able to do it no problem. But because I never use paint thinner, I only use my brush wash, there are some limits, and that's okay. Just learn to work with them. All right, we're all done today with tutorial number 28, a nice, warm, snowy scene. I would love to see what you end up coming up with, what you decide to paint, maybe inspired by this scene, or you do this exact scene. Send me an email, kaylee@kayleerakowski.com. And thank you again for joining me in my studio today for Tutorial Tuesday number 28. My name's Kaylee. I paint wet on wet landscape oil paintings. And smile and be happy, friends. See you next time.